beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Karma Cards and happy Libra season. Now, Libra season is very interesting because Libra is an air sign, and the air usually talks about the words that we're speaking or writing. It's about thought and communication. So it tends to be sort of a colder element, if you will. But Libra itself is paired with the planet Venus, which brings the heart and warmth. It brings a desire for both balance and harmony. So when we enter Libra season, there is a desire to harmoniously communicate with one another. And that's really interesting because that seems to be the theme of what's going on right now. And the other thing that's going on in energy right now, and today I am recording this on September 24th, is there is a lot of solar flare activity. It's nothing super big, but there's a lot of incoming energy, which means that the amount of energy sort of flowing through into the stratosphere and the earth itself, and of course into us, is amplified and heightened. So it might make you feel off, a little groggy, can make you feel even a little bit crispy around the edges, like you just, like things feel a little harder because we're getting a higher voltage of energy. So make sure that you're doing all of your self-care work that you can. One of the things my team has told me at this time is if you want to feel back to normal, whatever that means for you, because we're going through such a high voltage energy period, not just with the solar activity, but with the activities of this ascension process as it's going to continue to sort of escalate, if you will, because the polarization of the two major timelines gets clearer and clearer, right? We see the timeline we want to experience, and we're also going to experience the antithesis of that so that we can make clear, strong, and distinct choices. While we're going through that, our nervous system can feel unsettled, and we might notice that that our regular routines, whatever we're doing for ourselves to settle our nervous system or help us feel grounded, we'll do them. It'll take, right? We'll get that feeling of grounding or calm, and then it seems like moments later we're sort of unrattled again. And so the message at this time is you're doing great. You don't need to do more, but if you want to feel more grounded, if you're having a hard time holding your grounding or holding a nervous system that's calm and relaxed, then their suggestion is we sort of amp up the activity. So doing a couple extra things to help anchor your nervous system, and that just might mean like doing them more often throughout the day. It doesn't have to be anything crazy or super long. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can do it while you're doing something else. One of the things I do and I teach all the time is the vagus nerve toning breath, and that's just a deep breath in through the nose, hold at the top, and then a long, slow exhale through pursed lips all the way out to the end of your breath. And what that does is it'll tone and soothe your vagus nerve, and that soothes the rest of the nerves in your body. And you can do that while driving, you can do it while cooking, you can do it while working. It's just an easy way for you to help re-ground yourself. And I would say do up to 3. If you want to do more, you can do more, but 3 seems to really lock in that grounded feeling. And of course, if you would like support or you want someone to guide you through it, I actually do an emotional reset with somatic tapping and vagus nerve toning every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time on the Insight Timer app. It's a free event. You can join me live. It's 30 minutes where I'll take you through a routine to help you really stabilize your nervous system, and then you can go on throughout your day. And it's just a great way to start with a really grounded, centered feeling, being in your power, calm, and relaxed. So if you'd like to join me there, I put the link below in the description, and I'll see you at the next one. So again, the message from the team this week, it correlates really nicely with Libra season. Like I said, it's an air sign. It's about communication. It's about the mind and how we use words and how we're hanging out in our own mind. When I asked the team what the message was for this week, I got the Ace of Swords and the upright position. This card has many meanings, but it always alludes that the hand of God is involved in the process of the mind. So this could infer that there's sort of a divine spark, but the swords also talk about getting to the point, literally, pun intended, right? Getting to the point, to the heart of something, cutting through the crap, cutting through the lies, and gaining clarity. So what I'm getting from my team this week is that this is a period of getting clarity. Now, because it's happening in Libra season, like I said, Venus is involved, and Venus is going to soften this energy and help whatever we're getting to we're going to get there through love, through harmony, through balance. So it's not about getting abrasive. And the swords can sometimes be abrasive, especially if they're reversed. This can be about words that attack. And it's not about that at all. It's about cutting through the crap, cutting through the illusion and getting to the truth is really what this week seems to be about. This first week in Libra season is about cut through the crap and get to the truth. No more illusion, no more lies, no more confusion. And that's something else the swords can do for us, is it can cut through that mental fog and confusion that we can sometimes find ourselves in. So this week, what I get from the team is that you're going to get to the heart, to the point of something that you have felt maybe is a little bit confusing or foggy to you, something that feels obscured. It's going to cut to the point and you're going to be illuminated by source energy itself. It's going to be like, that's the point, right? If I get past how I feel about it and the stories I tell about it and I get right to the point of it, this is what's going on. Now, these moments can either feel amazing, that can be like a great aha moment, and sometimes the truth can sting a little, right? That's why Scorpio is connected to the sign of getting down to the truth. It's a little stinger. It can sometimes the truth stings when you get down to it. For example, I haven't forgotten this one because it felt cold at the time I received the message, but I do appreciate the point my team was making. So I have been working on my illustration business because I've been an artist all my life. And I've sold a lot of art in my life, but I really want to focus my art. So I've been really working on developing my illustration skills and getting myself out there in that sense. And if you want to see what that looks like, Star Thistle and Quartz is the name of my biz. You can go to my website. It's all one word, starthistleandquartz.com. And you can go see what that looks like over there if you're curious. So I've been working on this. I've been very precious about it because I want to do it right. I always have that little bit of a desire to do it right or perfect, right? A little bit of perfectionism going on in there. So when I feel my perfectionism kick in, I have a tendency to get confused because I don't want to make the wrong choice. And so now which choice do I make? And there's all these different options. And I was at the point where I felt like I was in a deep fog about how to proceed forward with my art. I want to make the right choice. I don't want to waste my time going in the wrong direction. And so I kept tuning in and meditating and asking, my team, my higher self, source energy, what is the answer? What's the direction? Give me clarity, give me clarity. And they kept responding with, you already have clarity. You are playing the game of being confused. And I did not really love that answer. That felt pretty cold. It's like, what, I'm playing a game? Do you really think I want to torture myself? And they're like, you are torturing yourself, whether you want to or not. You are playing the game of being confused. Maybe because on some level I'm afraid to, commit to it, because what if I make the wrong choice? There's the perfectionism, right? So if I play the game of being confused, then I get a get out of jail free card, right? I'm not avoiding taking action because I'm procrastinating. I'm avoiding taking action because I just simply don't know what action to take. And when I tried to pray for that clarity from my team, they called me out on it. And they were like, you're bullshitting yourself, right? You're playing a game here. And it's pretend confusion. And that hurt because I felt genuinely confused. But when I sat with the message and I got over how I felt about it, and I really listened to what they said, And I went inward and I go, if I already know what I'm going to do, what do I do? And as soon as I said that, the ideas just were like tumbled out of my mind. All of this thing that I'm going to do. And I was in shock, right? It felt like something had downloaded, but the truth is it was a decision that was already in there. I was just kind of not committing to it. Anyway, my point in sharing all of that with you is that sometimes when you get the truth, it stings. And if we can get over the sting and see what the truth is trying to give you, right? I really wanted clarity. I really wanted to know my direction. I was hanging out in the illusion of confusion. And when I got the sting of like, actually, you know what you want, you're just avoiding it or obscuring it from yourself, that hurt. But it ultimately got me to see, yeah, I'm not confused. And here's the beautiful thing. When I moved out of that state, stuff started moving forward again. It's like, oh, now I can make decisions about things. So I share that with you because I get that a little bit of what's going to happen this week is cutting through the BS, getting to the truth. The truth might feel like an aha and a very clarifying moment. It's like, finally, that's all I needed to know. Or it might feel a little bit like a sting, like you're catching yourself in the act, or you're being caught in the act, if you will. And the point is to breathe through that. Use something that the Suit of Swords and the air sign itself can be very helpful with, and that's detachment, right? Detach from the feeling about it, because what you really want and what's really trying to get to you is the information you need. The information you need on the direction you wish to go, on the resources, the experience, the people, whatever it is you feel like you're in a fog about or not sure about, it's actually right there with you. And however the truth cuts, whether it cuts in a way that feels good or it cuts in a way that stings, it's going to cut through the illusion and get to the heart of it. And if we can allow ourselves to move past the emotional reaction we may or may not have, right? If we don't, you get to go right into it and it's just like you get to move forward. If you have an emotional reaction to whatever that truth is, what we want to do is try to get to that place of detachment and recognize that there's the truth and there's the story I tell myself about what that truth means. So in my case, the truth is I already made a decision and I am obscuring it from myself because I'm afraid of moving forward because I want to do it right. The story I tell myself about being told that is, well, that was hurtful. That's cold. Like, couldn't you have softened it for me, right? All of these thoughts that are really focusing on the wrong part. The wrong part is how it made me feel. The right part is what's happening. So we're being asked to practice the art of detachment so that you can get to the heart of what you want, because Source has your back and wants to give it to you. So if you feel like you're not getting the thing that you think you need, if you feel like you're not getting to the heart of something, the universe wants to cut through the crap with you this week and give it to you. Now, what will you focus on? Will you stay detached when you get that information and focus on the intel you get, or how that intel makes you feel? And the hint is go with the intel, because that gives us some forward momentum. So with that, let's look at what this week's karma cards have to add to this message. Right? If you're new to karma cards, let me quickly show you how these work. I have 3 decks here: planets, signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I've already asked my team what is the message for this week, and I've got 2 sets of answers. A set in red, which are action related, and a set in blue, which are outcome related. And the way that you play is you tune in with that beautiful intuition of yours and feel, what is the guidance I need this week? Am I looking for actions to take? Am I looking to see how things resolve? And of course, you can always choose both. And while you are while you're choosing, let me tell you the timing for this reading. This reading is for September 24th through October 1st. And the flavor of this reading is Pluto. Now, Pluto is the power purge planet. It's either it wants to help empower you to move in the best direction for you. And if it's not empowering you, it's out of here, right? So it's either empowering you or it gets purged. In the sign of Scorpio, which is what I was just talking about, where the truth might sting, but it ultimately heals, right? So Scorpio sting in the astrological sense is not a poisonous sting, it's the stinging truth that'll heal you, it'll set you free. In the 11th house, now the 11th house has to do with the future, our groups, as well as our hopes and wishes. Right, for those who are choosing action, your spiritual action at this time is to resurrect the extraordinary power of prayer for humanity's sake. I mean, that one's kind of straightforward. Resurrect the extraordinary power of prayer for humanity's sake. Prayer is the asking, right? So Source is going to respond to you. It's waiting, we live in a free will model, if you will. So if you want to be in confusion, as my example goes, if I want to continue to stay in confusion, I can stay there. Like Source will just be like, okay, that's what Therese is choosing. Interesting choice. But if I reach out and I say, I want clarity, please, what direction do I go in? That's the asking, that's the prayer. So what direction do you want to go in? And then for humanity's sake, this one's layered, because what you ask for yourself does serve humanity, and you can also ask for humanity. The tricky part is when we ask for humanity, we can intend that towards humanity and understand that that's the collective level. So we can put our 10 cents in, if you will, but other people are putting their 10 cents in, right? So that's not the level at which we would maybe feel like we have control, but we can always put our 10 cents in. And if you put your 10 cents in a lot, it's contributing to the collective energy. So what do you want to know? What do you want to experience? Are you asking for that? Or are you kind of sitting in the spin? Like I was sitting in the spin. And sometimes I have to sit and spin for a while before I'm like, okay, all right, I'm done spinning. Tell me which direction to go in. And that's when I got the clarity that I sought. Mental action at this time, get to the heart of the highest and lowest aspects of your hopes and wishes. All right, so this is where we get the self level, the humanity level. That's what I'm getting with the highest and lowest aspects. Now, low in this case doesn't mean like the lesser, but the local is what we might call the lower experience, because it's a self-reference experience. Just if I was just thinking about my level, that'd be the lower level. The higher level would be like, how does this affect everybody, right? So get to the heart of what's the point of the highest and lowest aspects of your hopes and wishes. So Therese, coming to you, right? If the universe is like, tell me the highest and lowest aspects of what you hope and wish for when it comes to these creations you want to make. And I might say that at the lowest level for myself, it's like, well, it would be fun. It'd be very validating if people wanted to engage with my art and found value in it. I'd feel like I felt my value as an artist. I'd make money at it, and that would help me support my family, and that always feels good. So having another income stream feels really positive. Those might be the lower aspects of my hopes and wishes. Now they want to say, okay, what's the highest level, Therese, of you putting this out there? Well, me putting it out there, it puts good energy out there, right? I believe that creating things that create beauty, or my work tends to invoke a sense of calm. There's like a sweetness and a serenity to it. So that's putting that energy out into the world. Sometimes the things I create have a very personal meaning for somebody else. That's a higher version of the energy of putting it out. Putting intention into my work, that it raises the vibration just by being out there. Those are the highest aspects of my hopes and wishes, right? So it's asking us to like think about that. What do you, first of all, what do you want to ask for? Secondly, why? What's What's it going to do for you? What's it going to do for the world? Can you answer those questions? It's pretty straight to the point stuff this week. Physical action at this time, do or die. You must control the situation and do it for the future. Pluto's always going to talk like that, like it's like the end of the world, because Pluto's on the furthest edge, right, of the solar system. So it's like, this is your last stop. Like, I'm going to ask you what it is you want to, what do you want to do? Because this is the last chance you get to ask, right? So Pluto always has that intensity. Pluto happens to rule Scorpio, which is where the control comes in. Okay, so there's a little bit of intensity in this message right now. In the Law of One, they call third density the choice. And that's a major feature of third density, right? So we're given an ego or a sense of self in the third density. And the reason that's given to us is so we believe we're making choices that are authentically ours. Like me as Therese, not me as the universe, but me as Therese is making an authentic choice. What that does for us is it helps us to articulate our energy. Which direction does this piece of source go in? If this piece of source thinks it's a being named Therese, who has free will to make her choices, right? So the third density is a choice point. We get a sense of authenticity from what we choose. And it's simply saying, come on, make some choices. Make some choices. Stop watching the world and having other people make choices for you. And we're in a part of time right now where that's like never more true than it's ever been. Social media is rampant. Everybody's got a device, everybody's on video, everybody's watching the world, and it's like we're sitting back and watching it as a movie that's playing and going, oh my God, and having people yell sometimes their choices about what they think you should do to us. Never more has that been true, that the outside world has seemed to have gotten on their high horse and decided its job is to tell everybody what to do. Pluto is not down for that. Your higher self isn't down for that. Source energy is watching this going, very interesting. This is what happens when we're introduced to the idea of identity and identity reaching sort of a peak where it's taken on a life of its own and it's now telling you how you're going to live. You, an infinite source. You, an immortal being. You, the very container in the fabric of creation that you're in, is going to tell you how to behave. Interesting. So Source is just watching us going, oh, this is fascinating, right? And I'm sure there's higher dimensional beings that are also like, pass the popcorn, it's getting weird over there. So we're at this point right now where the outside world is trying to dictate to us in all sorts of ways, through all sorts of means and channels and all sorts of directions, what you should choose, what you should do, who you should be, how you should think. Take control of the situation. Remember, you are a creator being. You, working with Source, are the very fabric that is surrounding you. You know, we have this sense of self, and it's fun and it's helpful, and it gives us a sense of like a point of direction to move in. Because if I'm here and I'm me, and I have this in front of me, then the next choice I make will be blank, right? So it's fun for us as a soul to be like, what do I do in this very specific scenario? But you are not just the hero in a story, you're the writer of the story. And this is a time where we need to start thinking from a multi-consciousness. And this keeps coming up over and over again. And you've got a choice. So I know I'm just another voice out in the void telling you what to think or not. That is not my intention, by the way. You think what you want to think, you do what you want to do. I just encourage you to remember you're a creator being, and you have an opportunity, I should say, to think from a multidimensional place. And what that means is having both the awareness of I am the character in a story. I am, Therese in the story of Therese, but I'm also the author who is writing the story of Therese. So I have a bird's eye view and I see the future because I'm writing the future, and I also get to experience it in real time. And they're saying, time to go upstairs, time to go into your higher vantage point. What are you going to do? And what do you want to make for the future? What's the call? What's the idea? This is coming through so strong right now. What are your ideas? pray, right? Talk to source, ask it to help you, ask for clarity, cut through the bullshit and the illusion and get right into the heart of what you are. And what I'm getting is this multidimensional awareness is really what we're being called into now. You are meant to play the character, and you are meant to be the observer of the story and the writer of the story. It's a lot, but we are capable of doing it. And every time we get these crazy influxes of energy, it's just helping us be more and more capable of doing it. So Pluto's like, man, this is the time. What other time do you have to do it? Do it right now, right? All right, so now let's look at outcomes for Pluto in the sign of Scorpio in the 11th house of the future, your hopes and wishes and groups. Spiritual outcome at this time, the need for control of purification to resurrect freedom. Yeah, so the sword, right? Piercing through the heart, cutting through the bull crap. That is the purification. Like cut through the fog, get right to the truth. So I get the sense that we want to wield that sword and be the one that cuts it. That's only going to happen if we ask the question. So the question is, cut through the BS, cut through the illusion I'm having around X, right? What is this thing? Where am I in illusion? Cut through the illusion and show me the truth. That's kind of how you get control of the sword. The sword, remember, is being wielded by the highest power, God, source, universe. The field is wielding the sword. The field has the sword. Our job is to ask it to cut through the BS wherever we find it. Cut through that. And that will set you free. Like I said in my own story about being in confusion, that was a self-made confusion. And when it was cut through, well, then I was free. I was free from it. I could move forward now. Yes, I know what I want to do. And that is what they're saying we have the ability to do for ourselves. Mental outcome at this time, an obsession with the secrets of associations. I really get that this is sort of like, remember what I said before, that sometimes the truth stings and we can get caught up in our feelings and the story about it. Okay, yeah, my team's confirming that. This is talking about getting obsessed with the story. So, ouch, that hurt. I can't believe you would say such a thing about me. Are you implying that I'm avoiding something? This is me talking about what my team had said, right? Are you implying that I'm avoiding something? How could you think that? I look at how hard I'm working. I feel like you guys aren't supporting me. There's the story that I'm busy talking about rather than the truth is I have clarity already. So the obsession with the story, what does that mean? What does it mean when somebody cuts to the heart of it and says something like, you're getting caught up in the drama? It's just an event, right? It's just an event. What if you could let the drama go and just deal with the event as it's happening, and then you can get your solutions? Now imagine you're going through something and that's the answer you get. Ultimately, that is the answer that sets you free. However, most of us, especially if we're in the drama in our mind, are going to then latch on to, what are you implying? What do you mean? Get out of the drama. How dare you reduce the pain and suffering I feel to a drama, and obsessing over what are you associating that with, right? So what I don't love about this answer is it implies that we can get stuck in the weeds on the feelings, the sort of the butthurt feelings we get about if the truth stings. What I'm hoping is that you get this message before you ever get there, so that if it gets triggered, if you get some stinging truth that sets you free but hurts when you get it, that hopefully you'll remember this message and you'll catch yourself and be like, oh, wait. Before I go down into the rabbit hole of all the things I could associate or the implications I think that means, let me just look at what they pointed at. And is there truth in it? And does that set me free? If I follow the guidance, if I follow what it's pointing at, will that set me free? I think that helps us sort of detach. We're like, okay, that sucked. I don't like that you pointed that out. And yet I see the truth in it. And I do see that if I let that go, I'm very capable of dealing with the event as it is and coming up with a solution. So that sucked. That hurt. But this is helping. That's what I hope for us. I hope it for all of us, really. But I'm hoping this message reaches you before you hit that point, if you hit a point like that, and it helps you let go of the obsession about the feelings and go into the helpful guidance. And physical action at this time, a power struggle resulting from the power of your circle of friends. This can be hard, especially if we're getting to the truth of something, and that if you're associating with people who would rather focus on the drama with you. Because again, human beings, we love drama. We love it. We love drama. And no shade to any human being. I also love drama. That's why movies are so popular. That's why TV shows are so popular. That's why plays are popular. We freaking love the drama. It's very human. And it can be really easy to get sucked into it if something's going on or something that's said that is getting to the heart of the truth, and people are like, did you hear who said that? What a person, going on and focusing on the wrong thing. Here's the truth and here's the drama. And everyone's like, the drama, and going into that. Be careful, because if you're trying to move forward and get clarity, but you're bringing the awareness to other people, it's like it could kind of backfire on you and get pulled into the drama, because the drama is way more interesting. Look, the truth sometimes is kind of very mundane, and it's as you already have it. It's done. There's no drama. You're clear. Now move forward with your choice. That can feel a little dry or stale, or a little bit okay, that's a nothing burger, right? Once you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, is just do the next right thing. Pretty simple. Not a lot of bells and whistles in that one. But the drama of how dare they, or how gross that is, or whatever it is, that's way more appealing. And on an associations level, like friendship level, sometimes, unless you're with a group of people or a person who really wants the truth as much as you do, really wants to just get down to the heart of things, if they're in that space, then I feel like you could work together and get synergy there, and just help each other out of the muck and directly into solution. But if you got someone who's well, I don't even know if that's the truth, because look at how it was delivered, or it wasn't said in a way that I can digest or hear, or I felt triggered by that, or whatever, then the situation seems to morph into the whole obsession, the obsession of feelings, the obsession of story, the obsession of drama. So we are in an interesting point. Like I said, the outside world is trying to impress upon us its idea of what you should choose for the future. Do you like what it's impressing on you? I guess it depends on the source you're listening to. But in general, what's the consensus you feel out there? Do you like what it's impressing on you? You don't have to accept that. You can go back into I am the creator. I am writing my life story. And that doesn't mean you get to rewrite the collective. We're a collective. We're going to be offering lots of perspective. But what it does mean is, in my story, no matter what the collective is doing, I still get to experience clarity. I get to experience the truth. I get to experience joy. I get to experience forward momentum. I get to experience healing. I get to experience excitement from positive outcomes, right? No matter what the collective is doing. That's the power that Pluto is trying to get us to. Now, the collective is going to drama, because that's what humans love to do. And if you feel like the noises of the outside world are very loud, then that's usually a sign to shut it off. And I've had to do that a lot lately, where it's I just I just want to see what's going on in the world. And I look around, I'm like, this is crap. Like, this is crap. Never mind. And I go into the things that I want to focus on. Like, I want to focus on, deepening my connection with spirit. I want to focus on my nervous system. I want to focus on helping, ground the energy and opening up consciousness and all of this good stuff. So I go and I choose what I focus on, and I find I'm doing much better because I'm not letting the outside world dictate to me what I'm going to experience for the future. And because I'm in tune with myself, because you're in tune with yourself, we know what we're asking for. So when we go and talk to Source, when we have that moment of prayer and connection, we can say, this is what I want. This is my idea. And this is why I want it for myself. And this is why I want it for the collective. And that's all we need to do. And the universe is standing by and listening. And with that, I am sending you so much love. Mwah.